Thank you very much. So how many people on the call? What do we have?
Got
Right now we've got about a dozen.
Okay, good, perfect. I'm going to assume that every single person on the call has a tower garden. I hope so. The one thing that's beautiful about the tower garden that a lot of people don't know is that you don't need a green thumb to grow. And those are our best targets, besides the schools. One of the realizations that I came to when I first started playing around with the tower garden, which was the year that we bought the farm, and we literally bought the farm, was it was a situation where I started experimenting with it, and everybody always does. But I think the most important thing to do when you're talking about the tower garden does involve schools, but mostly it actually involves having kids around. Kids are amazing. For those of you who know the Beavers, one of the Beavers' granddaughters, who was 3, built the tower garden at 3 years old. You can tell people that, and there's a video out there somewhere. But children are our future growers, and they are the ones we really want to focus on. So when I do my workshops, which I do one workshop once a month on a Saturday from 10 to 1, and then on that same day, I pack it full of events. I do a salad in a jar party. And we'll talk more about that later, and I'll show you some examples of what I use for that. The most important thing, like I said, is to have kids around. And when a woman says to me, "Oh, I'm going to come to the workshop," and I said, "You're bringing your husband, right?" And she's like, "Oh, no, he's really not into that." I said, "Who's building the tower garden?" She said, "Oh, he is." And I'll say, "You got to have him come along, because then he can hear, he can ask questions, and get a nice, light, tasty salad afterwards." So, the thing I'm trying to do is not only bring more men into it, but bring women's husbands. So it's a real good thing to take and use as a relationship builder with couples. It really is. I wasn't busy in the JuicePlus business at all. At all. When the tower garden came along, I got passion. And that's what I hope will happen with a lot of people that maybe have a spouse or one that they're living with, whatever the case may be, that is maybe not doing anything about it. Maybe that will spark some interest. If not, there's a lot of other really cool things we can do with men's parties and men's groups. But women are already doing them, men can do it too. And it's something simple as maybe having them over for a salad in a jar party and making sure there's wine there. And I saw that glass of wine. So I think it's really important to integrate all the products of JuicePlus. Now, one of the ways you do that, well, let me back up a little bit. A lot of the people that are on our teams will fall into a tower garden gap, or they'll fall into a JuicePlus gap. And there's nothing wrong with the JuicePlus gap, because that's recurring income. The tower garden gap is a difficult one, though. And although someone may have told you you can do reoccurring with the tower garden, I'm going to tell you no. I'm sorry. If you have someone that's in the tower garden business and they need to bump it up with the JuicePlus business, you got to do that really gently. Otherwise, they'll say, "I don't want to be a representative at all, and I want to walk." So what I do is I teach people a dialogue when they're talking to people about the tower garden. And it's very simple, and if you want to take the notes down, that would be awesome. Even though this is recorded, it's always awesome to take notes, like at my workshop, because then you remember them better. We all know that. So let's pretend that I have a tower garden customer, and his name is Craig Kennedy. Or he is not a tower garden customer, and I'm going to do a little dialogue with Craig. Okay? So, hey, Craig, how are you doing today? Is your audio off, Craig?
Not anymore. I'm doing great.
Okay.
How are you, Joe?
I'm good. I noticed that you took a lot of interest in the tower garden, and you were staring at it for a really long time. Now, by the way, when I say that, I've already given him one of these. Now, these are similar. They have these at conference, but they'd look nothing like this. And on the back, and I'm going to get it really close so you can see it, there are bullet points backwards, sorry. There's bullet points there. All those bullet points are the most important part about when you're educating people about the Tower Garden. We don't take JuicePlus, we eat it, and we don't sell things, we educate people. That's a super huge thing. So Craig, I noticed after I gave you the flyer that you, and you have the flyer with you, and you're talking to them, and you just go over those bullet points. So what would you like to grow, Craig? What would you like to grow?
To be honest with you, I love cilantro in my salad.
Okay. Yeah, and you'll find that, just a side note, you'll find that people either love cilantro, otherwise known as coriander, or they hate it. And don't freak them out about it, okay? So I think you may have said tomatoes also. People always talk about growing their own tomatoes in the Tower Garden. If they happen to mention a root vegetable, please, at that point in time, just say, oh, by the way, the Tower Garden focuses on green leafy vegetables, and we really don't and can't grow things like carrots and potatoes in it. But we can grow bunching onion, and that is, you might want to write that one down, that is a root vegetable. Well, that sounds great, Craig. What else? Tell me more about where are you going to put your Tower Garden?
So all of our house is facing. Living in Colorado, we get a lot of sun, so it's all windows back there. So I want to put it in front of the window, in the south-facing window here in Colorado.
And is that inside? That's inside?
It is inside, yep. Yeah, we have a 59-day growing season in Steamboat, so and there's no guarantees even with that, so we have to grow inside.
Okay. And please, somebody remind me of 4 brand new things that are coming up that you will learn about in Indianapolis. I'll be happy to share them because I'm allowed to. So then I immediately know that Craig is going to need a light kit, right? And that's why I just mentioned me telling you about some new things. So Craig, you don't grow outdoors then? Or you do?
Actually, we do. Starting May 1st, we'll put root vegetables in, like carrots and turnips and beets and
got it.
Stuff
okay,
like
cool.
that.
Cool. Great. I know that you
some of the lettuces you plant pretty early, but
sure. Okay, great. And all those lettuces grow indoors and outdoors with the light kit. All of those lettuces grow. And just so you know, we will be able to grow fruiting vegetables, unless I stand corrected, as soon as the new light kit comes out. So there's number 1, new light kit. You'll hear about that. So you want to focus on fast. You want to focus on green leafy vegetables, heads of lettuce, and stuff that they'll never see in the store, like Segolane, Salanova, just stuff that really looks awesome on the tower. And you'll also have a show tower, and then you'll have a working tower. Now, if you've taken my workshop or been to an event where I've been able to talk to distributors, you'll learn that there's some things that I do and teach you that make it so that you can reharvest a head of lettuce. So that's one thing. But that's something that I offer to Craig when I am telling him about the Tower Garden. Now, Craig's in Colorado, I'm in California. And so what I'm going to do is I would do a Zoom call with him, and I would do a mini workshop with Craig, because that's what I do. I also would send him 12 seedlings for free, because I can. Because I ship seedlings. I think some of you guys know that. If you don't, I do. They're $1.75 each. We're all trying to be the same price right now on shipping seedlings. So Craig, what else? Do you have any other questions about the Tower Garden?
I do. What happens like smoking cucumbers that have male and female flower? There's no bees inside my house. How do I get those to grow?
Okay, really good. So you take a simple Q-tip and a little vial, and it's kind of the opposite anatomy-wise with males and females. So a flower that looks like it has a bulbous end at the base of it is a female. So it's just kind of the opposite. And then a flower that doesn't have a bulbous end on it is a male. So you wait for the male flower to open, and then you take the Q-tip, run it around inside, and then you go ahead and wait for the female flower to open. Hopefully it'll both be open at the same time. You just run it around the inside, and that's how you pollinate. Tomatoes are self-pollinating, meaning if you see the flowers on the tomatoes, you just shake them lightly. That's called easy pollination. So that's the solution for when it comes to noticing a female flower versus a male flower, okay? So that usually works with everybody. So Craig, you'll notice on the picture here, on the flyer that I gave you, there's a tower garden showing there, right? And you'll notice that that's what we famously call our support cage. And it not only supports the fruit, because you do want to hang your fruit, but it also supports the old light kit, just so everybody knows that. It supports the old light kit, but it will not support the new light kit. So I do recommend that you do get the support cage, because your fruit likes to be hung. You know, it likes to be hung with like strips of sock, not string, not nylon, strips of sock. The other thing that we really like about the tower garden is we have this thing called an extension kit. And the extension kit is a very cool thing, because it allows you to get 8 more plants, specifically herbs, on the tower, up on that top part of the tower. So that is one of our accessories also. Lastly, the corporation got upset with me because I wasn't mentioning that they have extra nutrients. And, you know, we don't want you to run out of nutrients. So it'll last you about 3.5 months at the most. And so they've made a moratorium, and they said, hey, you've got to mention the fact that that's how long the nutrients last when you get their tower garden. By the way, you get everything with your tower garden, everything to grow, including seeds, everything you need. And so I do recommend that you do get the nutrients. And with those 3 or 4 accessories that we just mentioned, you get 30% off. Now, I'll bet you Craig knows exactly, because he is a representative, how much the tower garden is for the first payment in any zip code around him, and what the 11 payments are after that, don't you? Yes, he does. I'm sure he does. So memorize that. Memorize what those payments are with those 4 accessories. If they say they want to just get the tower garden alone, say, that's okay, but is it okay if I tell you some things that we discovered upon a collaboration with others? We discovered that 90% of the people that buy a base unit tower garden, similar to buying a base unit car, which no one does, they will end up buying accessories, probably all 4 of the ones I mentioned. So, you know, you'll want them to get 30% off. So you walk them through, you make sure you know the amounts that it's going to cost for the 4 accessories, or the 3 accessories. Here in California, we have 3. We don't have the light kit. And one of the things that I'm going to mention to you that's kind of off the sideline here is the second new thing that you'll find with the tower garden, and some of you know about it and some of you don't, is the extension kit will be offered another way. And the way it will be offered is there will be 16 square ports around both of the extension kit pieces, designed specifically to grow baby lettuces, not microgreens, baby lettuces like, you know, baby arugula, baby kale, baby things that are small that go fast and you can harvest them. Okay, and along with that, you're going to say, well, Joe, if they're square, how do we use the net pot? Well, we now have these things called clippets. Raise your hand or say something if you know about the clippets. Anybody? Okay, thank you. Very good. Awesome. So the clippets, and I'll show you one when I take you out to the farm, are these little white things that have a little tiny hook on them. I'll show you one. And they make the net pot kind of obsolete. But you need the net pot to grow your big fruiting plants, including your Swiss chards and things that get really big, okay? So just know that you don't want to dash them and throw them away. But the clippet is what you'll use with the brand new form of an extension kit. They're not calling it that, they're calling it something else, but you will learn about this at Indianapolis. The clippets can be purchased online. It's the second version of them, and they're perfect. They work really well, very easy to take a plant out, trim the roots, all that stuff. All right. Lastly, I'll just tell you about the last thing they're going to have at conference and announce it. One of the Arizona conferences, I brought Steve William, who's the head of Tower Garden, one of these. And if you look at it, it's a dolly. It's made by DeVault, runs about less than $40 on Amazon Prime. Notice it has a center caster. And notice that it also has a locking wheel right here. I gave Steve Williams one of these, and I said, Steve, this thing, you can choose any size cask you want for it. I know the inventor's son. Yes, and now purchased and made their own mold that will be changing. We will not have a rust. Maybe the casters might rust a little bit or corrode, but we're not going to have this rusting dolly for the Tower Garden. So that's the fourth new announcement, if you hadn't heard about it already, that they will talk about in Indianapolis. And boom, you guys are now aware of it all. So I'm going back to now talking to Craig. After I've got Craig interested in the Tower Garden, I literally will be online with him and place the order with him. And he'll be on my website. And I'll say, okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to go and we're going to put the Tower Garden in. Now, at that point in time, before you place the order for the single Tower Garden, you want to ask the question, is there a possibility that he would possibly, because we've got Christmas coming up, right, that he might want to buy a Tower Garden for a friend? Or he has the ability to have two of them because he's got a lot of mouths to feed, or he wants to impress his friends and have a show tower and a working tower. So think about the trio, talk and ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. So I've got him online, and we're going to order the Tower Garden. We go ahead and we put all the items in the basket. And I've already told him the price. So when he chooses payments, he will see that it will have the first payment, which will include your shipping and your, believe your tax on your first payment. And so it'll be a little bit higher, and then you have your 11 payments after that. And one of the funniest things that someone ever said to me at a show was, do I own it? Or is that renting it? I said, no, you own it after that. Kind of funny. So once we've completed the order, I check in with Craig again and I say, do you have any other questions for me? Because remember, I'm here to educate you and help you out and make you a very successful grower. And if he says no, then I'll say, okay, great. And then I'll do a really long pause. And then I'll say, you know what, Craig, I totally screwed up. And I'll say, what happened? He said, well, I realize you're not complete. And he'll be like, what are you talking about? I'm totally complete. What's wrong with you? I've known you a long time. Why are you telling me I'm not complete? Well, I totally forgot to tell you something about the Tower Garden. That what are you doing with that produce? What are you doing with the collard that you're going to grow? Because I know you're not going to cook it, but it's the most nutritious thing that you're growing on the Tower Garden, including kale. Most people don't know that. And he'll say, all right, so what is it? And I'll say, well, you told me that you wanted to do this. I taught you about this, this shred 10 or shred 30 or shred 60, and told you about these shakes. And on my website, you'll see that there's recipes for those shakes. But one of the things I didn't tell you about was that, we've got the Complete. And the Complete is completely vegan-based. It's low glycemic, which should make a lot of people go goo-goo when you say low glycemic. Also, when you say vegan, it should make them low glycemic. So one of the things I want to make sure of is that when you're growing these vegetables, you can have your shake every day, or when you're doing your shred 10, you have your Complete with you, whether you're using your vegetables from the tower or you're mixing with water, coconut water, milk if you want, whatever, almond milk, doesn't matter to me. So you always want to make sure that people know that these are available also, because we are so on the go all the time. And one of the things that you might want to think about, which sounds like a stretch, but I decided to do it, is when people accept the Complete order, I send them a shaker bottle for free. I just do, because they ordered the Complete. So we'll go online, and I ask him a lot of questions, and we talk about the Complete. If he says no, say, okay, well, then the only thing I can do with you is tantalize you with candy. And it's funny, because when I start talking about the chewables, or chewies as some people call them, they have no idea how good they are. They have no idea. So I tell them about that. And then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't. But that's my avenue. And I usually get that order. That's my avenue, because I've already built trust with that person, right? That's my avenue to get to bringing JuicePlus into the Tower Garden order. And we all have our ways of doing it. one of the other ways you can do it is the salad in a jar party. And I don't know how we became so good at it, and not to sound egotistical, but we became really good at them. And we do a dog and pony show, Dr. Paul and myself, and we turn it into a really fun party. We provide red wine or white, possibly. We don't provide beer. And we invite every age, you know, and we've made our home kiddified, totally kiddified. So they can come in and have fun and run around. So they also get to get a free tour of the Tower Garden. When we do it, we have a full setup. Our dining room table is a shrine. We rarely eat at it anymore. It's a shrine for JuicePlus, and I'll show you that when I go mobile. But do have them, and do have a beautiful tower there so you can really entice them with the Tower Garden. And also make sure that you have another person there. It might be Craig's wife, it might be your spouse or a significant other who knows JuicePlus really well and can, you know, sit down, and when they have their jars and all waiting like little kids to shake and have a shake up party and play the Cars song Shake It Up, you can go ahead and you can pause for a minute and say, and have Dr. Paul or someone say, so what are you looking at on your plate? This is after you've shaken it up and put it out onto the plate. And they'll be like, well, I don't know, color. You see a lot of color. And that's super important when you show them what the color means. And those colors are representative nutrients. So Dr. Paul has a whole little thing that he does, and then I go back into it after showing them how to make the salad in a jar. Then I go back into it and I carry around a pepper grinder and I say, okay, and I start with the ladies and I say, okay, tell me something you're thankful for today. And that just changes everything. That changes the whole mood of the room. It brings people like, oh my gosh, this is cool. And so then I say, do you want some pepper? Okay, there you go. And I go to the next person. And I don't care how big the party is, you want to do this because it really changes the mood of the room. And you want to have music on in the background, and you want to have tons of wine. If you need help with that, I can tell you some to get at Costco. And so that's what we do with the salad in a jar, and that's another avenue of bringing JuicePlus into people's lives. Remember, when they're your customer, if you can, at any way, shape, or form, go over to their home and build the Tower Garden with them and possibly bring a bottle of wine with you and some seedling starters, do it. Because that just takes that relationship and goes like this. It brings them into your life. You really want to get all those families and people into your life. You want to be well-versed on the Children's Research Study and how that whole thing works, and you want to be able to do that immediately if they can have the kids eat the product for free for 4 years, okay? Now, what you see on the internet may not be true. We all know this, so please be careful of that. When you're reading things about the Tower Garden especially, please be careful of what you're reading on the website, okay? Now, I'm going to, at this point in time, see if Craig has any more questions that I can go into, and then I'm going to go mobile.
So quick question, Joe, this is Brian, is if you had to look at your business and say, you know, what are 3 things that you do either daily or weekly, right, to help drive, whether it's the Tower Garden part of the business or, you know, or the capsules and so forth. What are the 3 things that you do that has led to your success and continue to maintain that?
Follow-up. So I just got done doing this. I'll do a story with it. I just got done doing this Food Showcase Network with a sideline. And you guys, sidelines are really, really powerful people in your life because what you're getting from your upline or your downline may not be what you need. You might need a sideline to give you a different, like what I'm doing right now, give you a different perspective. So now I do a lot of Tower Garden events with a woman named Lindsay Richardson. She's a beautiful blonde woman, and she does a lot of Tower Garden, doesn't do a lot of JuicePlus. So we do a lot of Tower Garden events together. I would say that what I should be doing is a lot more JuicePlus than Tower Garden because I need the residual in my line, because the Tower Garden, unless it's a school or an entity that may purchase more in the future, like, how about this one, a assisted living home. That's what you have them, you know they're going to buy more and more and more, then that's fine. But you always have to focus, in my opinion, you do at least a 70-30 split or an 80-20 split. That's what I would do. Now, I do a lot more Tower Garden, obviously, than I do JuicePlus. I just do. But I always try to do that thing with the complete and get them interested in JuicePlus. So whoever's in your life that's more at first at JuicePlus, you want to make sure that you listen to what they say and be able to answer those questions. There's nothing worse than when someone is hot to trot and ready to go, and you've educated them enough that you know they're not going to walk, that you know about the product and all the different features of the product and the new things coming down the road. That's super important also, because you always want to look into the future with people, because that's what our life is all about, looking into the future. How's that? Do you agree with that, Eric?
Yep, that's helpful.
Anybody else before I take you on a little tour? Anything else, Craig?
Why don't you take us on the, oh, go ahead. I was going to say, take us on the tour, and then I'll open it up to everyone to ask questions.
Okay, very good. Very good. Craig, you're going to say something.
I was going to say, where do you put the dirt?
See what I mean? Everybody's got a good one. Everybody's got a really good one, you know, and you really want to take these pearls of wisdom when someone says something like that and write it down. Here's the deal. You don't want them to get rid of their raised beds, especially people on the East Coast. You know, you don't ever want them to get rid of their raised beds. You look at someone like Woody and Gretchen Comstock and her sister. You know, these people love their raised beds because you say, hey, you don't have to get rid of your raised beds. It's okay. Just grow your root vegetables in there, okay? And your rosemary, by the way. Don't grow rosemary in the tower. It gets crazy. Unless I have a new discovery, which would be dwarf Indian rosemary that a chef told me about. So, yeah, I like that, Craig. I like that. Okay, here comes the tour. I'm going to pick up the, okay, let's see. All right. Oops. Okay. Here, right here. Here, remodel.
I think we lost Joe.
Hold on, guys. Let me get this up and running.
So, Joe?
I'll be right there. I'm picking it up right now. Give me a sec.
Once you get your mobile unit going, you should mute your stationary one so that it picks you up on the other microphone.
Yeah, I'm using the iPad. you do me a favor to go turn on the lights all back there along the back side, including this hallway one? Okay. See that? Everybody there?
So, Brian, can you just mute his other line? He's got two microphones open. The other one won't switch over to speaker view on that other unit.
But I'm away from the other line.
I know, but the microphone is still picking up your voice.
He's good. We muted it.
I can hear you faintly.
Okay. Just a second. I'll set this here for now and let you get excited. There you go.
There we go.
Hey, Joe, are you still there? We can see your picture, but we can't hear anything.
Okay, sorry. All right, so how's that? Is that okay?
That's good.
Okay, very good. Let me put it. All right, there we go. All right, so those towers that you saw out there that were on the driveway or on that flyer that Craig sent everybody, they are now back here. They were up there on that rooftop. So I've got 9 of my 12 towers up and running, and these are all for the restaurants. So, you know, above me, you'll see this white stuff right here. That's called tulle. I had to start using it because we had, because we had the birds were coming in and just getting crazy. Well, I came up with another solution that's old as the hills. I hang CDs all around, you know, CDs that have been wasted or something, all around the place to keep it so that we don't have issues with birds. So I'm probably going to remove the tulle. But you can see when I go like this, you can see just how big that Siberian kale gets. Siberian kale is very rare, or people don't grow it enough. And I'm going to show you how the clippets look. So if you look right here, that's a clippet sitting off the tower. And I'll give you a little side view of one right up there. See that? So it just has this little thing that you can grab and pull out. And I'm going to demonstrate that also. So if I want to just take the plant out with the clippet, I nearly just grab it like that and pull it out. And isn't that a lot easier than a net pot, right? So that's the clippet. And the old ones didn't have that little finger part right there, and the new ones do. So those can be purchased. I sell them also. Okay. This is something also that is kind of a phenomenon with the Tower Garden. It's called mustard mix. Every chef loves it. It is 3 different microgreens that are all mustards. So we have ruby streaks, this red stuff. We have golden frill, this stuff. And we have ruby streaks, golden frill, which is the green stuff. And then we have ruby streaks, then we have red garnet. So 3 different things, 28 seeds inside of a piece of rock wool. I talked to you about a lettuce called Seagull. This is Seagull. Seagull, when you give it light, will have the center will turn red. The center will turn red. I'm trying to give you some excitement here. So there's red and the center's on some of these, if you take a look at that. Really a pretty lettuce, C-E-G-O-L-A-I-N-E, Segolane. This whole tower here and this whole tower here, these are all collards. One of the restaurants we provide to provides all is for all collards. Now, I always like to say when people see these towers, they get tower envy. And that's really no joke. They really do. They think that, you know, oh, they have to, you know, have a tower that's really tall like that. Please dissuade them from that. I'm going to show you a little something I have over here. To give my seedlings a little extra light every day, I just put them inside a seedling coop. The seedling coop has LED lights and T5 bulbs in the back. Pretty cool stuff. So that's it for that. And I'm going to give you a shot of it again, how it looks. So our backyard has become the farm until we have our kitchen remodel done, and then we will have a huge deck. This is the Tower Garden shrine on the dining room table, covered up with a few papers. But that's what it looks like, so that when people come in and they're in the salad in a jar party, they can come up and look at all the different products with JuicePlus. The other thing I was going to show you, I showed you the clip it, but I'm also going to show you the salad in a jar party flyer. When I go back in here. Okay. It has beautiful fruit all around it. I'm going to turn it to the side so you can read the whole thing. But it basically says on the very top up here, it says celebrate produce and come to our salad in a jar party. And then it will say down below that, hang out with great people, make healthy salads, do your body good, and learn simple tools and solutions for better health. You'll notice there's 4 things that we want them to know about. I'll read them to you. Bring, it says, yourself and friends, 1 healthy salad topper prepped, 1 or 2 mason jars or plastic quart-sized wide-mouth containers, a smile on your face. We do it at the same time on a Saturday on the same day we do the workshop every single month. And it's from 5:30 to 7:30. This way people can get out and still enjoy their evening. And then I just put, and I give the address of where it is. And you wouldn't believe how many people actually come to this salad in a jar party. I think one of the most important things to know is you want to get a really cool image of those salad in a jar. So that's another way, another vehicle that I use to bring people into the JuicePlus world and teach them how to do meal prep. People seem to like that. Okay, I did the tour. You want to open it up for questions?
All right, I'm going to unmute everyone. So
I'm just checking this out this first time.
Do you want to be on the
when I
video?
don't have so much going on.
all right, is anyone out there got questions? Well, we have Joe on the phone.
On the horn.
Yeah, well, and that too, right? So, well, Joe, we appreciate your time this evening. It doesn't seem like we have a lot of questions. That was
Am I able to ask one question?
Sure, go ahead.
Getting tomatoes to
guys.
grow.
Um,
We're getting lots of
Joe,
breeds. but we're not
how do
getting
you deal with
Wait,
pests?
hold on. One question at a time, please.
Yeah, Kevin, go ahead and ask first, Kevin.
Okay. The growing tomatoes on the Tower Garden. Up in Calgary here, we pretty much have to grow inside 12 months a year because the weather just doesn't work for growing outside that often. But anyways, we get a lot of green, but we don't get a lot of flowers. What can we do to make them flower more, or even start flowering?
What lights are you using?
The lights
What lights are you using, Kevin?
The
what
lights that
lights?
came with the tower.
Kevin, mine took about 6
Okay,
months.
really,
I'm in
really
Calgary.
good question. And okay, really good question. The T5 bulbs that I just showed you in my seedling coop that are horizontal and not vertical, those are not meant to grow fruiting plants.
Oh, okay.
However, I did tell you they are coming out with the brand new light kit, which will be announced in Indianapolis, and it looks like Medusa's hair. It comes off of the top of the tower, not hanging on the side of the tower. And imagine having a big, huge arc, 4 of them coming off the tower that you can adjust if you want to. And if I'm not mistaken, they're broad spectrum LED. Now, when I say that, that means what? That you can grow fruiting plants with them. So it's a double-double. It's really cool. It might be, I think it might be about $100 more than the existing, which is an incredible price point. They worked really hard with R&D on this. And I saw it over a year ago. So you now know that we're going to have a brand new light kit. Now, if you're going to be using the T5s, I do have another idea for you. And I learned this idea from Jennifer Myers. I walked in her house, and you know, when I see a tower garden that needs work, I'll just start working on it. That's just the way I am. And it might be a little bit intrusive, but she didn't care. She's like, go for it. So it was neglected, and that's okay. And she had 2 red fluorescent bulbs on the tower besides the white ones. She had a ton of peppers on the tower. So I will tell you this, I don't want you to chuck your T5 bulb. I'd like you to go out and try to get, and I don't know what the success rate is. I just know what hers look like. You can buy some T5 bulbs that are red, and red is for fruiting plants. The green or blue spectrum is for the leafy vegetable of light. That's how that works. Just remember, red is tomatoes. Tomatoes are fruiting. So you could do that. And I'm sorry that no one told you that. Also, something that you want to tell people that are getting the light kit is please look on the box. There's seed packets on the box. Nobody knows this. It's a double bonus. So when you get a light kit, you get winter seeds or indoor growing seeds with it. And some might be duplicated, but it's the most amazing thing. The company never says anything to people about it, and yet they will throw the box away, and there go the seeds. It's so funny, but that's really good. There's also on the Tower Garden website, there should be a form that shows you what we grow during the winter. And if you are getting those emails that talk to you about the Tower Garden, read them, print that stuff out or whatever you do, because that's going to help you as a tool to educate people with and sell the Tower Garden.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry nobody told you, Kevin, about that. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. But are you coming to Indianapolis?
No, unfortunately, we're not able to
Kevin?
this year, but we will be.
Are you coming to Indianapolis? Okay. So make sure you find somebody that's going to give really good notes and find out about the light kit. Okay. And who's the other one that had the question?
That was us. In fact, we just got a red spectrum bulb. We replaced one of the T5 lights with a red spectrum, so I'm trying that for my peppers. I got that idea from the Myers too.
Oh, you did?
Andy has a question.
My question was, the one time that we put our tower outside, it got aphids, and it kind of gave aphids to the rest of the plants in the house. So we've never put ours outside, but I'm wondering how you deal with bugs, Joe. I was getting something. Oh, ladybugs. That's awesome. Yeah. Well,
I don't have any
we can't
problem
have
opening indoors. I have no problem opening this indoors because ladybugs are good luck. It's kind of like fig trees with homes. It's good luck. And what you want to do when you get them is, you'll see when I open this, a lot of them are on the lid, and they're around that little white cotton ball. That white cotton ball, you want to keep that wet like every other day, and they're stored in the fridge. So don't freak out about that. If you get a couple in your house, I wouldn't worry about it. They might colonize if you put them in the house, right? Because they don't really have anywhere else to go or anything else to eat. So the instruction with this is you take it out of the fridge, you wait till it gets warm, they hover and collect around the lid. You simply take the lid off and go bam on top of the tower garden and then put it back on. And do that at dusk. Don't do it in the bright sunlight. Do it at dusk. And then they'll crawl down the tower garden and go to town. If that doesn't work, I do have a mixture that I was taught by Tim Blank, and we can take that offline for the future. The other really simple thing that you can do is if you are having fruiting plants on the tower and you know your fruit is on there and it's at least that big, start hacking away at all the useless leaves and branches. Really, it's going to look nuded, but it helps because then you're going to have a lot less areas for especially tomatoes to have caterpillars, and they're gross. If you do have caterpillars, follow the droppings up and try using polarized sunglasses at dusk to find the tomato worm.
Cool.
How about that?
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
You good on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's so many little tricks of the trade, and if any of you are thinking of coming out to San Diego, please go to SoCalUrbanFarms.com, and look up the event schedule, and please come to the workshop. It's totally worth it. And you can bring 3 people for free that are non-reps, and we serve you a light, tasty salad with Dr. Paul's famous miso dressing. And I could probably be convinced to have you come to the salad in a jar party that evening. And that's always fun. People do it all the time. They come in from Phoenix, they come in from Reno, they come in from Las Vegas, they come from way up north. You know, they can go to anybody's workshop. They just want to do a double-double and have fun. And so I don't really close off workshops that much anymore. Excuse me, the salad in a jar to just our representatives. I try to open it because remember, sidelines light up. There's like, oh my gosh, how are you? You know how it goes. So, any other questions that we have? That was a very good question, by the way. Come on, give me a good one.
I have a question. I don't know if it's a good one, but it's a good one for me. So I didn't hear what you said, Joe. This is Lori, about will the new light kit be available immediately after conference? Do you know?
From what I gather, it's going to be announced. I believe they said it will be available, and if I'm wrong, I apologize profusely, but I would make sure that if you're driving there or you're going to fly there, be prepared to take one home. I am, because I have to show it off, right? And if it's good outdoor, Lori, it's good outdoor, then I'm going to put that baby outdoor. Remember, you want, during Halloween, I'm starting to call a Halloween Hollow Christween, because it's like Christmas for people. You see these homes, it's like they have all this stuff all around their homes.
Yeah.
So take your flower garden and really have fun with it if it is outside or in a window, and make sure that you put orange lights and orange and black lights, whatever you do with it. You know, at Christmas time, put Christmas lights on it, really nice LED lights, and then ornaments. Hang ornaments off of it. I mean, there's so many things you can do to have fun with the tower garden and make it look like, you know, and the other thing that I really love doing is putting lights on the tower garden and plugging them into the timer so that they go on and then they go off and they go on and they go off. And the neighbors are like, what's going on, you know? So you always want to bring your neighbors into this regardless of if they are JuicePlus customers or not of yours, because you want to make sure they feel included when you're having a party, quite frankly. And I do that. I say, hey, I'm having a salad in a jar. Love to have you over. And, you know, it's one of those things where they'll come to a party. It's pretty much a free meal for them. They're just bringing the topping and some containers. So
Awesome.
Yeah, have fun
Thank
with it.
you. Great presentation. A lot of good ideas. I mean, it's fantastic. Thank you.
You can thank Craig. I usually don't do these, but I would do one. I do it for Craig.
Aw. Yeah.
What else? Come on, give me another stumper. Andy, do you have any questions? Anything, Andy? And
All
Eric?
right.
Eric, anything?
I think we're probably. I want to again a special thank you to you, Joe Wesley. I really appreciate your time and your knowledge. This was really a lot of fun. I took a page and a half of notes here, and I'll post my takeaways on our team page, of course. But thank you for being here. Thank you guys for participating and for your